Good evening, students. In the last class, we have discussed phylum Arthropoda. In this class, we'll discuss phylum Chordata, which is also a very important phylum. As previously, we have discussed phylum Arthropoda, right? This is which is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. At the same time, phylum Chordata also play a major role because here many of the mammals and many of the chordates means that they have a backbone. Okay, so we call them as a chordate. I'll come to that later when we actually discuss brief characters of this phylum chordata. Okay, this is also play a major role, major important points will be there, and that could be asked in the NEET and CET like. Okay, so we'll start with a few characters from start. So the first and foremost character is phylum chordata have a notochord. This notochord, they could be present in the either stage of, or it could be present throughout the embryonic development. Okay, so the notochord is either throughout the life or during the early development of a cycle will be there. Which one? A notochord. Notochord either throughout life or during early embryonic development. So it can be seen in either we can see in throughout the entire life, this notochord could be present, or during the early embryonic development, it could be present. That is the first feature. The second is dorsal hollow nerve is there. Nerve cord is there. Dorsal hollow nerve cord. Nerve cord is present. And they have a paired pharyngeal gill slits. They have paired pharyngeal gill slits. At the anal, they have a postal anal tail. Okay, they have a post anal tail. So before going in detail of other characters of the chordata, phylum chordata, we discuss the difference between the chordata and non-chordata. Okay, so let me put one table so that we can easily write all the differentiation between the phylum chordata and non-chordates. Let me put one here over here so that we can write, and one more on the center. Okay. So now, so here I will write chordates. Chordates here, non-chordates. The first one, in the chordates, notochord is present. Notochord is present. In the non-chordates, notochord is absent. Previously, we studied so many phylums, that is arthropod, Ascalimenthes, Nemathelyminthes, and phylum Porifera, all the primitive type of phylum, right? So those phylums will be not having this notochord, only it is present in the chordata phylum. Okay, notochord is absent. Here, the central nervous system is dorsal and hollow in single. Central nervous system. You can also write it as CNS. Is dorsal and it is hollow. I'll write the picture so that you will get the clarity. Okay. And it is a single. Where in this case, CNS, that is central nervous system, is in the ventral part. He is in ventral and it is solid and double. It's not a single, it's a double. Next character, the pharynx, perforated means any, there is a section on the plate. For example, plate will be there. There are so many holes will be there. So we call that perforation. Okay, here in the pharynx, there is a perforation by gills. Gill slits. Okay, gill slits. Here, gill slits are totally absent in the non-chordates. Are absent. Next here, heart is in ventral. Heart is ventral. Where in the non-chordates, the heart is in the ventral. Sorry, it's in the dorsal surface. Heart is in dorsal. Sometimes in non-chordates, art, it could be present in some organism. It may be absent in some organism. Not every, for example, non-chordates, many are the ascalimenthes, all that it involves. It doesn't have any sort of heart, right? If it is present, it is present in the dorsal side. If it is not present, there is, totally, we can consider that is a non-chordates. Okay, it belongs to non-chordates. So that's why I'm mentioning if present, it will be on the dorsal side. Okay. One more character is there. That is the last character. Here, postal anal part is present. Okay. Post anal part, that is tail, is present. Okay. Here, it is absent. So these are the difference between the chordates and the non-chordates. Why I'm writing this? Because you should have some clarity before the non-chordates and the chordates. So previously we have discussed all the non-chordates sort of phylums and organism which is related to non-chordates. But in this, from now onwards, we'll discuss all the organism or all the phylums, subphylums will be there that belongs to a chordata family. And chordata phylum will be having certain features which is so differentiate from the non-chordate. So that's why to make a clarity, I have written the differentiation between the chordate and non-chordate. It could be asked in your academic level, but when it actually asked in the MCQ part, they pick up every point. Okay, so you cannot say that, you cannot leave a single bit of information here. You have to study in detail. Okay, so for that purpose, I have discussed all these 5 characters. Okay, so let me, before moving to further characters, let me draw. You will get to understand where notochord is present and where nerve cord is present. And we also discussed the post-anal part where it will be present and gill slits. Okay, so let me write one diagram here of the chordata characters to discuss the chordata characters. Most of the time, all this present in the early development, fetus, we would say, right? Embryo, a fetus. We can see all these features. It could be notochord, nerve cord, all together. Notochord, nerve cord, postanal, this one, heart, everything. It was exactly seen in the fetus. In the upcoming development, many of them going to degenerate. It can be formed. A different evolution could be formed. Or mutation could be changed. Leads to changes. So. Um, in the early stage, we can see all this, the chordate characters we can see in the fetus or embryo. Okay, that's why I'm writing this fetus, and it can, it's just a chordate. Okay, primitive type of chordates will be having this kind of features. So let me draw. So I'll write to make clarity. So I'll give a color so that you'll understand what is nerve cord and what is notochord. Okay. The fixation, the back. Okay. This will be having some fixation. Choose one more color to take a very small line. Okay, this is the gill slits. And this I end, right? I'll write it in green so that you'll understand. This part, the end part is the post-anal part. So let me write. So this is a nerve cord. And here the space between the nerve cord is a notochord. And the perforation, as I said, these are gill slits. Gill slits, why it is important? Because for the respiration, I'll write it here for your understanding. Respiration. Okay. And this is the post-anal part. Post-anal tail or part, anything. Yes. So this is a characteristic of chordata. What is this? Chordata characteristics. Chordata characteristics. So much we have learned. Let me move on to this is just to understand where the notochord is present, where the nerve cord is present, where the gill slit is present. Okay, because we have discussed here in the chordate differentiation, we have discussed certain key points, but we have to show where exactly it is will be, right? So that's why. Now, let's move on to other features of this phylum Chordata. This phylum Chordata is divided into three subphylum. That is Urochordata, or we call it as tunicates, or Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Okay, so this chordata will be divided into three categories. One is Urochordata, and the second one is Cephalochordata, and third one is Vertebrata. They have a vertebral column. Okay, Vertebrata. See, the chordata will be having the notochord and nerve cord. So that's why we call this as a chordata, where previous parents will be having only the nerve cord. They didn't have any sort of notochord. Okay. But here chordata phylum, they'll be having both notochord and nerve cord. Notochord is present, no, in the early stage of development. Nerve cord will be during the development, will be carried out throughout the life. So that is how this both work together. This is the three subphyla. What are those? Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. This Vertebrata again divides to further division. So let's discuss why, because it is very important. That's why I'm stretching this. Let me write here separately. Vertebrata. We humans also belongs to this Vertebrata was one of the family mammals. Okay. Because we have a fixation, that is a backbone, that is we call as vertebral column. Okay. That will be having so many organisms. We are also one of them. Okay. It is divided into two division. One is agnatha. Agnatha. Second one is gnathostomata. Gnathostomata. So why agnatha? Because they lacks a jaw. They don't have a jaw line. Okay. We have a jaw, but they don't have a jaw. They lack the jaw. Okay, lacks jaw. The gnathostomata, which bears the jaw. This agnatha, they have class also. This is agnatha is the division in the vertebrata. Vertebrata is a subphylum. Okay, don't confuse with it. This is a subphyla, and this is a division. Here, this class will be there. Okay, which one is? First one is a cyclostomata. Stomata is the only one class that comes in the agnatha. This is a class. Okay, class. In the dathostomata, the superclass will be there. That will be divided into another class. superclass will be divided into two classes. One is Pisces and tetrapods. Pisces and here tetrapods. Tetrapods means they have four legs. Here limbs. Here Pisces they bear fins. Here fins. Tetrapods they bear limbs. Okay. Here the Pisces also divided into chondriocytes and osteocytes. Okay. Chondriocytes. Second one, osteocytes. Osteocytes. And here tetrapods is divided into amphibia. Amphibia. Second one is reptilia. Third one is apes. And fourth one is mammals. Mammals. Okay. So these are the classification of this, phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata will be having three subphylum, that is Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. And this Vertebrata is the main in the animal kingdom. So whenever we talk about animal kingdom, especially in the PUC from this one, we study more about the Vertebrata rather than we do study of the different characteristic, but in detail we study in the Vertebrata. This Vertebrata, which is a subphyla, will be divided into two more divisions. Agnatha, which bears a jaw, Gnatostomata, which bears a jaw, Agnatha, which lacks a jaw. Okay, so this Agnatha will be only having one class, that is the Cyclostomata. The Gnatostomata will be having superclass, one is Pisces and tetrapods. Where Pisces will be bearing a fins and tetrapods bearing a limbs. Okay, in the Pisces, chondriocytes will be there. All the chondriocytes on the bone fish will come. In osteocytes, boneless fish will going to come. Okay. And in the tetrapods, all will be having the limbs. And from the amphibia, reptilia, apes, still to the mammals, we are also belongs to our mammals. Okay. So we also having a limbs. We do not call, we ourselves called a foot or something like it. Basically, when it comes to animal, scientific mode, we cannot call foot, it is called as a limb. So tetrapods will be having the limbs, and that is also seen in the mammals. Okay. So these are four, these are the characters of the phylum Chordata. So we'll study different characters in the individual subphylum like Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and phylum Vertebrata. Okay. This is just a classification, but mainly we have a three subphyla, right? Urochordata and Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. We have to discuss. We have to discuss the three different subphyla. Okay. So the first subphyla is the Urochordata. Urochordata. Okay. Any feature regarding this Urochordata, which is a subphyla? This is a subphyla. Okay. Let's list out some key features or characteristic of this Urochordata. So this Urochordata, the subphylum, is also called as tunicates. It's also called as tunicates because the adult body is enclosed by leathery test or tunic formed, and this is formed by why? Because the adults adults enclosed by leathery test or tunic form of cellulose like organic substance. That is tunicin, called as tunicin, which is a protein. Okay, that is present. Cellulose like. And here the notochord is present only in the tail of the larva, and then it is named as Urochordata. So the notochord only present in the tail region. Notochord is present only in the tail of the larva. Okay. So hence it is called as Urochordate. And when in only in the larva stage means early stage of development, but when it becomes the adult, it will going to disappear. So when it becomes a and disappears in the adult. Here the larva, here which larva, the acidician tadpole we call it as, but in depth you don't need that much, so now can't remember. So the larva undergoes retrogressive metamorphosis. So here metamorphosis, we don't call it as metamorphosis. Like for example, we call it, we'll take the butterfly. So the larva, the caterpillar is a larva. Okay, that larval stage, it will going to metamorphosis into butterfly. So we don't call it as a metamorphosis. Certain stage will be there, and that's why we call it as retrogressive metamorphosis. Undergoes retrogressive. That means change from better larva to less developed adult. Less developed adult. Okay. So here the examples, if we look at the examples are Salpia doliolum, doliolum, Acidia, Astridia, Salpa. So these are the best example. Most of the time asking the question. So that's why I've given the same example. So this is all about Urochordata. Okay. So we'll move on to next chordate, that is subphyla, that is Cephalochordata. Cephalochordata. Where this Cephalochordata will be advanced than the Neurochordata, where notochord is only present in the other tail region. So this is more developed than the Urochordata. Let's see other characteristic features of the Cephalochordata to understand it. Okay. So here The notochord extend up to the anterior end of the body. The anterior means the mouth, okay, from the dorsal to anterior part. So here the notochord is extends up to anterior end of the body. Hence, it is called as chordate. Okay. This is one of the key feature, and the notochord is persists throughout the life. It's not only stay in the during the embryonic development. When it becomes an adult, also the notochord will be remain as it is. The notochord persist throughout life. Now, pharyngeal gill slits are more numerous and better developed in the Cephalochordata. Previously, we didn't talk about pharyngeal gill slits. It's not developed more, but we can evidently see in the Cephalochordata, which is more clear, and it is more the perforation or the gill slits, are more in the Cephalochordata. Here, pharyngeal gill slits are more, are numerous, I would say, numerous, and are better developed. Next, the tail is persistent throughout the life. Throughout the life, the tail will be remain as it is. The tail is present throughout life. A good example is bronchiostoma amphioxus. Bronchiostoma. It is also called as amphioxus and also called as commonly landslides. Land. Okay. This is called. This is about the cephalochordata, not more characters, only not the notochord will be extended toward the anterior and it will be remain throughout the persistent of the life. And the pharyngeal gill slits will be numerous and is better developed, and the tail will be remain as in the throughout the life cycle. Okay, that is about the cephalochordata. And we left with only one subphyla, that is phylum chordata. Sorry, subphylum vertebrata. Vertebrata. Here, these are advanced chordate have a cranium, a brain box. We call it as. These are advanced chordates that have cranium. Cranium, which is very important, word. Cranium, that is nothing but a brain box. Simply, we can call it as brain box. That around the brain. And secondly, the notochord present only in the embryonic stage and it will be replaced by vertebral column that we call it as backbone, right? In the adults. So notochord is present in the embryonic stage. Where in the adult, they have a vertebral column. Vertebral column. Vertebral column is the backbone. Okay. That is one of the advanced features which is there in the phylum, subphylum Vertebrata, and this subphylum Vertebrata also called as a craniata, where why? Because this is presence of a cranium which is advanced, better than the other phylum, right? So craniata. Okay, this could be asked the these names and all. So make a note of it. And then one more character that vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart. Okay, they have a 2, 3, and 4 chambers arts and kidney for the and osmoregulation, excretion and osmoregulation. And they have a paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. Some of them having a fin, some of them having a limbs also. Okay, so this vertebrates have ventral muscular heart with 2 or 3 or 4 chambered heart, chambered, chambers, I would say. Okay. The kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation. And paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. Okay, it may be fins or limbs. So here the all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So you have to keep that in your mind. This is like slogan, okay? So all the vertebrates are chordates, okay? But all chordates is not a vertebrates. Why? Because there is some, differences between this. So you should not get confused with that, okay? This is like a slogan, okay? So this is all about the phylum Chordata. Okay, so far we have discussed the Chordata, phylum Chordata, a normal key feature, the presence of notochord, nerve cord, and pharyngeal gill slits are the key features of this Chordata. And we have discussed also discussed about differentiate between the chordates and the non-chordates. I saw where the notochord is present, where the nerve cord, where the pharyngeal gill slits and the post-anal tail will be present on the picture I have shown you. And we also discussed the classification of this phylum, subphylum, the classification of this phylum. Chordata we have discussed. This is divided into 3 subphyla: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. This Vertebrata will be having the sub divisions: Agnata, Gnathostomata, and this Agnatha will be having the one more class for Cyclostomata, where Gathostomata will be having a super class, that is Physis and Tetraphus. And we also discussed other features of this Urochordata in detail. Why Urochordata is firstly evolved because of the notochord only present at the tail region and many more features. And with Cephalochordata, notochord will be extended toward entire. In the case of Vertebrata, notochord only present in the embryonic stage, but in the in the adult stage, it will be replaced by a vertebral column. We call it as a back. And it is also having a heart, which is having a 2, 3, or 4 chamber that is covered by a muscular, call it as muscular heart, and kidneys for the excretion and osmoregulation, and they have a pair of appendages, which may be fins or limbs. So, and one slogan, all the vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not at all a vertebrate. So, see, keep that in your mind. So that's all for the today's class. We'll meet up in the next class with a new chapter. So till that, keep learning and keep exploring. Thank you for attending the class.